I'm Sherson, LE Studying 1, and I'm going to do the formula explanation for this assignment. For the following engineering problem, the following formulas are used in the programming of Matlab. This excludes the unit conversion. The first formula will be the main formula, which is PCR equals to pi squared EI over KL squared, where PCR is critical load, E is modulus of elasticity of material, I is moment of inertia of material, K is effective length factor, and L is length of material. The formula for the moment of inertia, which we can see is used in the formula of critical load, will be in I x plane and in I y plane. In the x plane, it is a h cubed over 12 minus c b cubed over 12. And in the y plane, it will be d a cubed over 6 plus b d cubed over 12, where a is the flange length, b is the web length, c is the web thickness, d is the flange thickness, and h is the beam web length with flange thickness. And then the equation in number 1 is to be verified of its legitimacy using formula sigma y equal to PCR over A, where sigma y is yield stress, PCR is critical load, A is area of I-beam. And then the area of I-beam can be calculated with A times B plus 2D minus A minus D times B. An important note to be addressed is the critical stress is not to exceed the yield stress, which causes yielding for the Euler formula to be valid.
So, hello, my name is Muhammad Alzam bin Amrun alias Ajiz, and my metric number is 75823. So, I will present our group flowchart. So, first start, then input the loads, I-beam support type, A, B, D, models of elasticity, beam length, and yield stress. Then convert the value of A, B, D into meter, the elastic modulus and yield stress into Pascal, compute the area, compute the value of H and C1, compute the moment of inertia of the beam in X and Y plane, show the moment of inertia in X and Y plane. If the moment of inertia Ix smaller than Iy, then show moment of inertia I equal to Ix. And if the moment of inertia Iy smaller than Ix, show the moment of inertia I equal to Iyy. And then identify the support type. Then if the case is Fp, K equal to 0.7, and if the case is PP, K equal to 1.0, and else, if the case is else, input the value of K, then compute the critical load, show the critical load, compute the critical stress, and show the critical stress. And if the critical stress is lower than yield stress, then show the statement of Euler's equation is valid, and compute the sigma load, identify the critical load that will buckle the beam, display table showing stress and load that will buckle the beam and also its position in the table, and plot graph of stress against load and else if the critical stress is higher than the yield stress, show the statement of Euler's equation is invalid, and compute the load under simple compression, show the load, and end. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Milik Naman. My meeting number 74015. Here I want to explain about the pseudocode of our project. First, start the pseudocode and input the value of load support type A, B, D, elastic modulus, and yield stress. Second, calculate the value of area, H, and C1. After that, calculate the moment of inertia x-axis and y-axis and determine the moment inertia of the beam, either it equal to inertia x-axis or y-axis. Then input the value of K following the support type and calculate the critical load and stress. If critical stress greater than yield stress, then the Euler equation is invalid, or if critical stress lower than yield stress, then the Euler equation valid, and plot the graph and end the pseudocode. That's it.
For Matlab M Script, firstly, we enter the code of the input of the values using the command x equal input and then the sentence with close with the apostrophe and bracket. Then type the code of inverting the dimensions from millimeter to meter, and for yield stress from megapascal to pascal and other dimensions. The moment of inertia of the beam also calculated and displayed in the Matlab. After that, using if-else command to choose the suitable moment of inertia. The K value is determined based on input just now using switch case command. Next, the validity of Euler equation is determined after finding the critical yield stress using the if-else command. If the critical yield stress is larger than the yield stress, we type the code of displaying the Euler equation is invalid and calculate for the simple compression. However, if the critical yield stress is smaller than the yield stress, then we show the statement that the Euler equation is valid and find the buckled stress. Lastly, we use the fprintf command to produce the table and the plot command to produce the graph. I'm Fungsikok, and here I will demonstrate our group's Matlab M script. Firstly, we must save our script first and run it, and from here we can see that we need to input the value of load. From the question we can see that the load is from 1 meganewton to 2 meganewton with the increment of 100 kilonewton, and we can type it in this form. Then we input the I-beam, the type of I-beam support. From the question we can see that that is fixed at one end and pin each other, so this case is FP, and we input the dimensions in millimeter. Then the modulus of elasticity for the T6 aluminum alloy is 73.1 gigapascal, and the beam length question 6 meter. Yield stress of material 114 megapascal. Then from the command window, you can see that it calculates for the moment of inertia at x-axis and moment of inertia at y-axis, and it will choose using if-else command window. It will choose the lowest moment of inertia, then the load, the critical load and critical stress is calculated using the moment of inertia. After that, it will show the equation, Euler equation is valid, and the table is produced. From the table, you can see that the beam will be buckled at 1.9 megapascal, 1.9 meganewton, and 2 meganewton. Since it has very high since it critical stress is larger than the critical stress. Since its yield stress is larger than critical stress. Hence, then the graph also created. From the graph, we can see that when the load is increased, the yield stress also increase. And that's all from me. Thank you.